Hey there, tarot tubers. Tarot and Witchery here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you the Grim Tales Tarot by Fiona Edgewood. It's spooky season, and so decks like this are really fun. The first part of the video, I'm going to go through and kind of share just kind of my thoughts on the cards themselves and the book, and then I'm going to do a quick mock reading. And I'm going to bring in some pairings along the way to kind of complement this and take us into some ideas for working with it. As we get into this tarot, I just want to let you know, because somebody always asks, this reading cloth is my favorite, and I got it from the Spellbound mystery box, Spellbound Society mystery box. It is so beautiful, and those boxes are amazing. You can check them out. Nice little box here. Yep, a Llewellyn deck. And one of the things I like about Llewellyn lately is that they are putting out these decks in different size boxes. I like this box. One of the things I like about this box, I don't know about you, but it opens up all the way. You see that? Like sometimes they're kind of like this, and it's odd, but this one opens all the way out, and I kind of find that sort of luxe. A little dark academia in feeling. So let's get into the cards here. I'm just going to start at the beginning and kind of go through as I talk. You can see that it's a collage deck, and it's got sort of this whimsical, let's just move this over here. It's got sort of this whimsical feel to it. There's all sorts of characters. Like here's the lovers come in, and I like this opposing colors, these forces coming together to unite. The Chariot is on a cat. Gotta love that, right? So there are all sorts of different images in here. This is sort of a nod to Baba Yaga in a way. Sort of interesting with it's crow's feet, not a hen's feet on there. So, you know, I think there's a lot of imagery in here to work with and to play with. There's the Devil. Honestly, not one of my favorite cards in the deck. It's really interesting. I see the nods to witchcraft here, but I don't know. I don't really jive with that. But I do like the tower. I love the face on this tower, and it kind of striking in the brain. So there's some really interesting different connotations in here with all of the symbols that she has chosen to work with. And then we're going to get in here. I'm going to actually split this so we can go just a little faster on these. Let's actually do swords at the same time. We'll start out with a couple aces. We've got the cups on the right and swords on the left here. I mean, here the ace has a sword. Ooh, cobwebs. Sorry, everybody. Ace has a sword, and then there's a poison bottle there. Who knows what's in that bottle? Kind of the potentiality. Nice Two of Cups. And here we have that nod to the Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's not exact, which is kind of fun to sort of make your way through this deck and to see where the nods are and where they aren't. This is a Cerberus right here in the Five of Swords, which is interesting. I would be interested in what's going on in the book. If you've watched me enough, you know that I love the fives. And so on first glance, I'm not particularly taken by these fives. I think these are choice point cards, and they're really important in the tarot. And I don't see how this relates, but maybe the book would have some kind of, you know, explanation for why she chose what she did. So as you can see, I'm just doing the first part of this video cold, with me not really knowing much about these and just looking at these as I go. We get up here to the queens. Here are the pages signified by children. Got the queens. Queen of Swords here with the, is that an owl? Maybe a hawk here. I'm having trouble seeing. This is sort of an interesting extension of this animal up into her. Fascinating choice. So there's some just intriguing sort of ways that these cards unfold, and it's like a dark whimsy to this deck as I go through. Look at this Three of Wands. It's the Grim Reaper. Why? Why? Okay, so that's my first thought, is why. So I have a lot of whys with this deck. Now, I just want to say this as I flip through the last of these before I pull the book out and talk about it, is that not every deck needs to function like the Rider-Waite-Smith. You can use a deck intuitively, and I talk about this in my Reading the Cards Intuitively class. You can simply jump into the art and refuse to look at what this typically means for you as a tarot reader, and you can get a lot out of just taking the ride that the artist wants to take you on in order to glean new ideas about the meanings. So getting caught up on, traditionally I would see X in here, and it would mean this could really be a stumbling block for a lot of people. But it definitely does not have to be a stumbling block if you'll allow the cards to be something new and fresh. And I think that's really important as readers. This is how I shuffle a new deck, you guys, just so you can see what I'm doing. I'm actually drawing from different sections of the deck. Anyway, so, letting a deck just be what it is and not hemming it into what you already know about the tarot can be quite liberating and can offer up just so many new ways of perceiving the cards and enjoying your read without getting you stuck in what you've always known. Yeah, let's take a quick look here at the book. And I'm going to specifically look up the fives right now and kind of see what's in there and how the book functions. The first thing I want to say is that the beginning of each suit has a little blurb on it, and I do appreciate some of what's being said here, and I thought I would read some of it to you as well. The suit of swords cuts through the veil, sharp and relentless, showing you the truth you've been too afraid to see. Swords represent the element of air, closely associated with mental acumen. This suit embodies clarity, the blade that slices through confusion, and winds that stir the storm inside your mind. Swords are intellect, logic, and the power of thoughts to create or destroy. They can pierce the darkness, but they also leave scars that must heal. So that's just a little taste. And then I wanted to move on to the 5 here. That was the one that kind of threw me for a loop. And I'll flip through some of this while I read. I wish I had it out, but I don't. You can remember what it looks like. It's the little, like the 3-headed dog here. 5 of Swords, a no-win situation. Defeat, conflict, creates a sense of competition and loss. An unhealthy obsession with winning at all costs. The emotional emptiness that can follow a hollow or divisive win. This card speaks to struggles where there are no clear winners, only loss and tension. It invites you to examine the consequences of your actions and the impact on relationships. The 5 of Swords encourages you to seek resolution and pick your battles more consciously. When this card appears, it reminds you domination doesn't create a true win. Real victory is surrounded by peace, cooperation, and mutual respect. So just a little bit of a criticism here for me. I don't know that that communicates that to me. I could kind of get there with, like, the 3 heads have to work together for the one body, but it's a bit of a stretch for me. That doesn't mean that I can't read with this tarot and go beyond it with what I already know. It just means I might have to do some mental gymnastics or let that go altogether and just allow this to speak to me in some way. All right, I've pulled out 5 decks to work with the Grim Tales companion. In the Grim Tales Tarot, sorry. And before we move on, I thought I'd show you my ring. I don't wear this very often. My husband brought this home on a trip for me. Isn't that just sweet of him? It has a labradorite and it's got the scarab beetle on it. It's huge and it's got these tusks, so it's It's good for evenings out, but not for doing much in it. But I do love it, and I do love reading in it. First thing I thought to work with was the Enchanted Earth Oracle by Jessica LaHound. I always feel like, am I saying that right? And the way I would work on with this one is I'm going to ask, what can we as a collective embrace right now for greater peace within our own souls? And I'm going to pull a card. Duality, balance, harmony, and integration. And then I think I would take this deck and I would open it up with some cards that sort of expound on that. Duality, balance, harmony, and integration. We are in a really polarized time right now, and I think it's important for us to remember the purpose of duality here in this existence is for each one of us to understand opposites, to find that balance, to move, to allow the pendulum to swing from one side to the other so that we can learn about different aspects of ourselves. And duality is not here to divide us. It's actually here to bring clarity, right? Because light and dark, when they come together, create shadow. If everything's all light, then we can't see anything. If everything's all dark, we can't see anything. So remembering that, what do we do right now to bring peace? The Lovers and the Eight of Pentacles. Well, that's interesting. And just to let you know, I looked over and found that I accidentally didn't grab the whole deck, and I just want to address this. It's okay. Just know that you're going to get the answer that you need at the right time, and you don't need to worry about if you find that you don't have a card in your deck. So I feel like the Lovers immediately opens up this idea of duality, right? Immediately with the imagery here. We have the light and the dark, and we have them coming together. We have them embracing each other. And love does that. It brings disparate energies together, covers it, embraces it, and creates something new. When we have two people come together, the two of them create something more than what they are by coming together. And so I think bringing, peace right now and embracing duality can really help in that way. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles here. And you see her sort of levitating over this sacred space that she's created in this candle. And there's a single candle. And I really feel like that speaks to knowing our own personal power and sitting in that. And I think when we do that and we embrace duality, we don't have to be afraid of the other. We can have peace because we're sitting in our own sovereignty. And that's really what I see in this card. Next up, I'm going to put 3 decks together at once. And hold on here, I've got everything turned around. I'm going to put 3 decks together at once. And I'm going to start off with the Murder Crows Tarot. I have a limited edition with the red on it, but this is still available. This is by Corrado Roy. I'm going to use the Crow Tarot by MJ Cullinan. And then I'm going to use the Grim Tales Tarot as well. So let's build on the idea of sovereignty here. Let's build on the idea of sovereignty and see what the cards have to say. Sovereignty is knowing our own personal power. It is who we are unapologetically without having to check in with the world around us. We are grounded in ourselves when we are in our sovereign power, and I think that's something that's really important for us right now. Hey everyone, sorry for all the camera angle changes. I'm having a hey diddly of a time. I'm rearranging this room, and this camera setup is really kind of tentative. All right, sovereignty. What can we do to more fully embrace our personal sovereignty? Here's one from Grim Tales Tarot. 10 of Cups. Wow, that's really interesting because it's known as the happy family card, and you see them like happy. Again, you see the light and the dark here embracing each other. Really, they're touching hands, but I think this links to our own sense of sovereignty in that we are composed of light and dark. We are composed of, the things that we even are repulsed from, we possess within ourselves. And making peace with ourselves and our own duality can bring us into a sense of being in harmony with who we are. So the Crow Tarot. By the way, if you're interested in getting a reading from me, you can check out my website down below, tarotandwitchery.com. All right, 5 of Swords. You can see them here arguing with one another. Crows with swords, that's really wild. Oh no, this is 5 of Wands, excuse me, 5 of Wands. So, this is interesting because that's really about being a little bit more playful with ourselves, realizing that to test out your own sovereignty and realize who you are in your own power, that you can play around with different ideas of self, that you don't have to get so caught up in an idea of self that you cut out the possibility of understanding different aspects of yourself. And so having a playful touch, an experimental touch, can really bring you in touch with your sovereignty. And then the Murder Crows Tarot here. Wow. The 7 of Wands is an interesting card to get in here because it's usually about feeling kind of weary. I think we are as a collective a little bit weary right now. We're plodding through, and you can see he's plodding through. He's got these bloody boots on, and there's just like thorns ahead. And I think that this is the place where we choose to stand. Even though we're weary, we allow ourselves to stop and measure who we are. We realize that we've come this far and we can make it, and that maybe it's time to just kind of rest in who we are instead of before we push on, because we are going to face something more. In the traditional Rider-Waite, you would see him, he would be battling with other people. But in this one, we don't see that. And I think there's something powerful in going what this card is showing, which is a kind of a moment of respite and reflection. So in order to jump into our own sovereignty a little bit more, creating that space to reflect and realize just how much you've overcome and how that makes you who you are. And even though tough times can be ahead, you're ready to face it. So Fortitude, let's go ahead and use my last 2 decks together again. I'm going to be using the Wise Woman Oracle by Cheyenne Zarate. I really love her decks. I'm going to be using an oldie but a goodie, the Moonology Oracle cards by Yasmin Bolin and artwork by Nyx Rowan. And then, of course, I'm going to be using the Grim Tales Tarot as well. I'm going to try working with the Moonology card first as a jumping off point for this. So again, building on personal fortitude, the idea of personal fortitude as a part of our sovereignty. But how do we work with our own personal fortitude? What does that mean for us right now as a collective, and possibly you? If you haven't seen my Ideas for Oracle series, you should look that up in my playlist. So let's start with this, which is Emotions Are Running High, Supermoon. Yep, I think emotions are running high right now in the collective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just get 1 card from the Grim Tales Tarot to kind of talk about that emotions running high. And again, we're asking how. We're asking how we can examine our own ways of fortitude. And of course, I guess in this instance, we would be doing it in the context of emotions are running high. So when emotions are running high, how do we pull on that fortitude? Page of Cups. To me, when I see this Page of Cups, I like this in the Grim Tales Tarot a lot. Yeah, that's a nice one. When I see that, it really makes me think, and I really love her face. It's kind of like, yeah, I got this. Of course, Cups is about emotion a lot of times. So we see here we've got this fish with many teeth in the cup. She doesn't seem bothered by it. Pages have a tendency to signify potentiality, much like the aces do, within the context of the element that it is talking about. So, you know, there's this sense of possibility on what our emotions can bring us. I mean, that's kind of the only thing I'm getting there. Sometimes we don't get a lot from a card, and that's okay, because I have a story that's building here. Don't forget, you can just have a story that builds. More words is not better. Actually, less words is concise. Emotions are running high. There are many emotions to choose from. There's many possibilities for those to bring me into fortitude. And now I'm going to choose some wise woman energy here to tell me, how do I put this all together? Okay, and this is the Wise Woman Oracle by Cheyenne Zarate. All right. The Nutcracker and Clara's Dance, Childlike Wonder. Oh, I don't even have to look up in the book. To me, immediately, I'm like, of course. I think a lot of times what happens is we get so caught up in the emotionality of a situation that we're swept away by it. But what if you had a sense of childlike wonder when these emotions were coming up? Instead of grabbing onto them and, you know, claiming them as absolutely your own, you kind of looked at them like something you'd never seen before, and you kind of turned it over in your hand and said, what is this? Because I think not every emotion is going to help us during this time to get where we need to be. It's not going to help you to be overly upset or think that it's doomsday. It's just not going to help. If you're one of those people that's falling down into existential dread, you know, it's not helping you. But having a little bit more childlike wonder, looking at things, saying, you know, what could this emotion do for me? How can I maximize this emotion? We had the 5 of Wands earlier. How can I play with that so that things are a little bit less serious? And in doing so, I think we can choose what we want to work with in order to help us get through the tough times. Again, that 7 of Wands. What can give us the fortitude to get through? And I do think it's being curious about this time. This is a time that's forging us in history. And if we remain curious about the energies and what they're doing for us, instead of really getting mired down in the mundane world aspects of it, we can see that there are other things going on, and really all you can control is yourself during this time. So taking these to heart, dialing it back from that confusing world and all the possibilities, and choosing what you want to engage with can really help you not just get through this time, but get through this time as a winner. I know that not everybody made it all the way to this point, so if you did, leave me a spooky emoji down below and let me know what you think about this Grim Tales Tarot, and what you think about me doing reviews like this where I do these mock readings. I think they can give us thoughts about our own world and the way that we are working with ourselves right now in this energy, but I also do it so that you can see how I read and how I link the cards together. So maybe you get some ideas on what will work better for you in your readings, or what doesn't work for you in your readings, because I know that the way I do it is, it's not the best way, it's just my way. And I'm going to end on this note. If you haven't signed up for my newsletter, I encourage you to do so below. I'm having monthly tarot meets. There's one in November that will be on the 15th, and you may want to sign up for that. They are super fun, and we talk about different subjects, and they are all about tarot and oracle. So if you don't read tarot, you probably do if you're here, but if you don't read tarot very well, I cover topics that can be used in oracle as well. Until we meet again, may you open yourself to the possibilities of how working with life can be different, just like this deck here, that not all the cards matched up exactly, but they allow me to see things from a fresh perspective. And I'm hoping that you can find that too during these challenging times.